tell me, about approach at AAA Agency.
If you're doing a campaign for the game title, it's critical to study the game inside out to clearly understand the brand values and the brand goals. So we never start campaigns without marketing research and audience studies. On the basis of this data, we carefully craft influencer strategy containing portraits and the platforms, as well as the communication guidelines for the campaign.
Right. And how do you discover right creators for a particular campaign?
We combine tech approach and the personal approach.
If you could design the ultimate partnership between a gaming brand and an influencer, what would it look like?
I see it as a very transient product promotion to create, cultural phenomenon. For example, the influencer itself could be woven into game's DNA, co-creating narrative in-game character, and the campaign will be kicked off in a mixed reality.
Hello everyone, this is Shubham Tiwari. I'm the head of content marketing and socials at Phyllo, the universal API for creator data. And I welcome you all to season 3 of Impulse, Google's #1 rated podcast on influencer marketing. And I'm really glad and thrilled to host our first guest today, Kira Chesalina from Serbia, connecting with us. She's the creative director at AAA Agency. Kira is a seasoned strategist with a deep passion for gaming and marketing. She's worked on campaigns for giants like Ubisoft, Bandai Namco, and Wargaming, blending creativity with data-driven insights to craft authentic and impactful influencer marketing campaigns. Kira, welcome to Impulse.
Thanks for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
Since you are in gaming, and I'm also in gaming, also in cinema a lot. And Squid Game is airing the season 2. So let's start on a fun note. If you could step into the world of, let's say, any game as a character, which game would you choose and why?
Well, it's such a nice question. The beauty of gaming is to be 100,000 personages at the same time, the characters. But if you're making me choose, well, I definitely will try to be Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate and Captain Kim Kitsuragi from Disco Elysium. But my favorite, it's a Kate Walker from Siberia series. She's the absolute winner of this top chart.
Wonderful. I mean, I would love to be in Squid Game because
Are
initially
you
it was
sure?
a TV series, but now there is a lot of games on Squid Game. I absolutely loved the season 1, season 2. I also enjoyed. By the way, Mr.
I'm not
Beast,
sure what I would manage to survive the first episode.
yeah, that's also there. You die there. You don't survive. You don't get a second life. So yeah, I was saying recently Mr. Beast also dropped his show on Amazon Prime. Did you manage to catch it? What did you think of it?
Well, it's been a busy couple of months for us, so I didn't, but I definitely would. I hope, hopefully this weekend. But he's a huge content creator. He's a trendsetter, so I will definitely do that.
Wonderful. So Kira, what drew you to this crossroads of gaming and marketing and ultimately to AAA Agency?
Well, I was a gamer from childhood, early years. I was playing Sega and Nintendo, all of these retro games. And at the same time, I always knew I want to be an advertiser. I watched Mad Men and I watched every other TV ads. So a couple of years ago, I finished my game design education, and here we are combining two dream jobs of mine at AAA Agency, trying my best to create the authentic campaigns for the best brands, and such an honor for me to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned Mad Men because it's one of my all-time favorites. The way they position
Oh
Lucky
yeah.
Strike and all the campaigns that they run. So tell me about approach at AAA Agency. Is it like Mad Men when you brainstorm together on an idea? What is this agency known for, and how do you particularly work with creators? How you discover them, and yeah.
Well, if you work in advertising, you're definitely mad, even if you're not mad.
It's a good one.
But yeah, first of all, it's important step for if you're doing a campaign for the game title, it's critical to study the game inside out to clearly understand the brand values and the brand goals. We usually held strategical meet with a client just to get to know each other, just to figure out that is more the most important goal for the campaign. So we never start campaign without marketing research and the market and the audience studies. And on the basis of this data, we carefully craft influencer strategy containing portraits and the platforms, as well as the communication guidelines for the campaign. Because, speaking about, for example, Mr. Beast, he's a huge creator, but he could be like not the best option for the brand. For example, if you do specific, niche game, it's better sometimes to choose the niche influencers. It's just as an example.
Right. And how do you discover right creators for a particular campaign? If you can give an example.
Well, we definitely use the Insight AI. Well, if we have a portrait, if I give a team the portrait, we can choose the creators on the basis of audience, geographics, maybe even the titles itself. But we combine like tech approach and the personal approach, because our influencer managers, they very well experienced, so they can like find somebody just on the basis of a knowledge. So we like combine these two approaches.
Got it. And how many influencers do you have on your roster? And how many social media platforms do you cover?
Well, we have 2,000 plus influencers on the roster, and these guys we working on a regular basis because we have a lot of different clients. On the side of a gaming, we have also tech clients, also FMCG clients, banking and other stuff. But we don't stop on this number. We fulfill it on the daily basis and try to establish as many contacts with talents and creators. Speaking about platforms, of course we work with all the basics: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, Reddit, Discord, Threads, X, and counting. But nowadays we always watch the tech updates. When the new platform occurs, we try and test it with the whole team. And if we understand that it's a perfect fit for influencer campaigns, we offer it to client, or maybe try and test it inside.
Right. Speaking of the fit, the brand fit, also the brand safety part. How do you do brand safety right now at AAA Agency? Do you use any tool? What procedure do you follow?
Well, yeah, we have this analytics tool for the influencers, and you can see the quality of influencers. So you can see if the audience is like real, alive, not deactivated. So we definitely, when we create a media plan, we definitely, choose the best influencers with a live and active audience, which could give you the best engagement and the best sentiment. At and at the same time, we hand influencer manager goes through the content itself and just to see the changes in the reach and the likes, because a lot of different factors can influence influencer content. For example, today you can reach 1 million audience and tomorrow only 200, and it could be different factors, the perfect timing, the best messaging and other stuff. So we combine these two approaches.
Specifically speaking of brand safety part, because let's say if a creator says something that is out of line, it can turn into a PR disaster for a brand, right? A potential
Oh, sure.
potential is there. So how do you like make sure that doesn't happen?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, I can separate three steps. First of all, carefully create an influencer brief, which we approve with the client, because it's usually we have do's and don'ts, like which we can say and which we couldn't say, in line with client positioning. At the next step, influencer create the draft of content, so we can see exactly what he or she saying on the content. So client could make changes in the content or like approve it right away. And at the third step is we watch the integration when it happens, so we can like minute by minute follow the content and tell client if anything's wrong. And if it's a stream, we watch the stream from the first second till the last, just to be on a pulse.
Right. And Kira, can you tell us what tools do you use to manage all these, very heavy manual tasks? Do you have any what integrations you mentioned, right? In integration. So
Well,
yeah.
we use, first of all, we definitely use the statistics and the data from the influencer page, and depends on the platform they use. It's a Twitch or TikTok or YouTube or maybe Instagram. Second of
Hmm.
all, we have a auditor tool which help us, to find a perfect fit influencer for us. And third tool we have inside developed database for the influencer roster, which help us to build the media plans as fast as we can and as perfect as we can, combining the factors like geographics, like audience portrait, CPMs, because it's critical, for the client to
Yeah.
fit in the budget. So yeah, we like try our best to mix all these instruments to build a perfect campaign.
Got it. And as a company, what newer platforms are you looking to expand to?
That's amazing. Well, as I said before, we work with all the basics. So now our plans for 2025 is to, work on more niche platforms for each region. For example, if you're speaking about like Japan, it's a line because it's under investigated, social media platform, but they leading in a social media for Japan. And if you're speaking about South Korea, it's OMG and Naver Cafe. Of course, I cannot like dismiss the red note for China because it's a huge topic right now. It's fun and games, but they're like leading in app stores today, so we must find out how we will develop the strategy, how we will monetize the influencers, and what will happen in the next few months.
Right. And what do you think of this, this deadline on TikTok in USA? They're saying that they are closing their shop on Sunday, by Sunday. So what do you make of
That's a really interesting question, and we're watching it as a action series on a daily basis with the team and discussing will it happen or not. So we predict, like as far as we can see, like huge amount of like influencers moved to Red Note already, and the application structure looks very much alike. But at the same time, it's maybe some like part of them will try to use VPN services just to stay on the app, because it's for influencers it's very critical because it's a huge budgets, and especially for USA it's like leading platform. So either like somebody move to Reels, somebody will try to move to YouTube Shorts, somebody try to monetize on Red Note, and as far as we like heard, the CEO of Red Note, he said that we will adapt application for English language. So it's hard to predict, nobody knows. Even if it will be banned, audience will split, so we will be catching them everywhere. So hopefully I see you on the next episode and we will discuss what happened later.
That's a great idea. Because we are all waiting to see, because it will set a precedence, right? In the Western countries, what America does today, the other countries will follow. But you mentioned something very interesting. You mentioned Red Note. Can you can you tell us what is it about? Because I'm sure most of our audience is hearing it about the first time.
Well, as far as China have TikTok, Red Note is more like Pinterest for China, but with video and photo content. So basically, when you register in Red Note, you can choose the topics that is like interest you the best. It's the same algorithm as Pinterest use, but at the same time, it's like manually and visually, it very much reminds me of TikTok. And I cannot, dismiss the fact that the huge audience, which Chinese audience called TikTok refugees, uh, on a daily basis, or goes to this app. So I predict transformation, kind of transformation, at least adaptation on different language, and this much people cannot not influence the app itself. So I guess the headquarters, we will try to adapt as much as they can, just to have this audience, have this influencers, because it's a huge budget. But at the same time, I don't know, when you build an influencer campaign, you definitely need to see where the audience of the outer like lives. So here could be a bit of a problems, because Red Note is specifically crafted for China, and like 90% of content is in Mandarin language. But if we will create campaigns in 2005 in Red Note, we will mix audience. It will be global campaigns.
And what do you mean by global campaigns? Is it you are going to run those campaigns in multiple countries or with multiple creators?
Yeah, I guess I mean that the audience will be so much mixed, it will be hard to split them, because it's like, when you sitting in a train and a lot of different people go somewhere,
Yeah.
and you cannot cannot ask everybody where are we going. So we'll figure out in the next half of a year, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of, next immediate future, how do you see AI impacting processes and operations at agencies like AAA?
Well, it's already impacts the processes and operations. For example, we discussed with you the auditor tools, which helps to search for influencers, and they develop and develop every day. They get better. So we already use it. For example, the predictable tools will be very much helpful, because we need to predict the campaign results on a daily basis, and we need to predict the reach and engagement rate. So this will be the initial instrument, if it's not yet. And at the same time, I'm willing, what is lacking for me as a creative director in influencer agency is a tool which helps to, faster and better communicate with influencer itself, because at this point we still messaging each other on email or maybe on social media, so it's kind of prehistoric by now. So we need to
Yeah, yeah, I
create some
totally, I totally
space.
get it, and maybe we at Philo can help you get those things done. So that's a conversation
Okay.
after the interview. What are the biggest pain points of brands that you're still looking to solve? And
Hmm.
secondly, what kind of AI solutions can help you mitigate those? Because you told us
Hmm.
what challenges operationally you're facing, but let's say if a very big gaming brand comes to you, what are the concerns that remains?
Oh, the biggest pain for the brand is to, mix the expectations and the outcome. And I can explain it. So, as a brand manager, you still need to get the measurable impact of a campaign. You need to calculate ROI, you need to calculate like efficiency of marketing spend. But at the same time, you need to like build a campaign which will be very close to audience pains and needs, and like you need to maintain the like alignment to the values of a brand and the audience itself. So it's very hard job to do that. So AI solution could be, a pivotal role, could play a pivotal role in this addressing those points, because for example, advanced audience analytic tool can give you deeper insights into influencer demographic, engagement quality, audience sentiment, with how brands go to, beyond surface level of a metrics. Like you only without AI tools, you only have a reach, and maybe you can calculate engagement rate somehow. But
Yeah.
AI gives you a deeper level of understanding the audience and the content quality. And the predictive analytics, I told you in the previous questions that it's very important for me as a creative and strategical director here in the company. So we can forecast campaign outcomes based on historical data and current trends. So that would allow us and the brand to make more informed decisions about creative direction, communication, and influencer strategy. Personally, I think it's important not to, wash every process with AI. It's better to mix human
Of course.
approach and AI tool just to make a perfect campaign. So it's, creativity and expertise at the same time.
Right, of course, you're at the cusp of creativity and marketing. So of course, AI can never replace creativity part. I mean, I'm plugging this API thing again because I see a lot of agencies using AI now to fasten their approaches, their workflows, their processes. So we at Philo recently released brand safety products. So how do you see us helping an agency like you? What do you think of a product
Well,
like that?
brand safety is very critical now. So it's not only critical for the brand, but it's critical for the agency because it's our reputation, it's the efficiency of a campaign. So we first need to, investigate the quality of audience for sure, because you could be you could have billion subscribers, but half of them dead, and you
Mass
just
mass followers.
may.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. And we need to find the perfect match. So it's our main, main helping instrument and main helping tool to build the perfect, to find the perfect influencer. Because we can only, if we do that manually, it will take so much
Yeah.
more time than to do that with AI. But time is money still, and
Of
every
course.
client wants to make a media plan yesterday. So we need to say this time, I need to be precise. So I do not see the future of influence without AI tools like yours, guys.
Thank you so much. What is your current mechanism of let's say tracking a campaign? It's a very basic level. Yeah.
Well, it's mix of a data-driven tools and manual analytics. We needed to ensure both quantitative and qualitative performance metrics. So we start by clearly defining KPIs with our clients, because for each client it could be different. It could be reach, engagement, conversions, or it could be more specific goals like brand sentiment improvement. And during the campaign, as I previously said, we use analytic tools provided by platforms like Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok to
Yeah.
trick real-time performance metrics, such as impressions, clicks, and audience engagement rates. However, we also focus on history, on the story behind the numbers. We influencer managers review content performance to understand the context, like whether certain posts resonated more because of a timing, or maybe messaging, or maybe audience reactions. I don't know, something happened in the comments. Additionally, we gather direct feedback from creators. They can give us inside data which we can not reach even from the platform itself. And we make a post-campaign report where we consolidate all those insights from all of the campaign, highlights from best and worst practice, key metrics, and key learnings, which we use to build the future campaigns to adapt maybe the content, maybe the formats of integrations. Well, on this point, we use AI as a visualization tool, just to make it more user friendly, to make it to make a better client service. But we definitely use a human touch, and each influencer manager writes the key learnings manually. With ensures we provide nuanced insights to align with the client's goals and brand values, and to give the best advices you can.
Right. So, how many influencers does one influencer manager manages? at AAA?
It's better. We don't look at this point in this way. We like better calculating how many campaigns can one influencer manager held. And on our experience, it's better not to overbook one manager with campaigns because you will lose a quality. So we'll try not to do more than two campaigns at the same time for one manager, just to fulfill, just to give the better quality, because you need to, for example, in one campaign you can have from 50 to like, I don't know, 100 influencers sometimes, or sometimes
Wow.
it's free influencers, but they are like major, like Mr. Beast, and they require a lot of attention. So we need to brief each one of them. We need to study every, draft. We need to study nuances. We need to watch all the videos, all of the integrations, and maybe the streams. So it's better, the less is better for one influencer manager, because we need to give a quality to the client. So I
Right.
know that a lot of agencies, they try to, they have to save some money and time, and but as I spoke on the market, influencer managers can like lose the focus and miss some, mistakes, and it could be critical for the brand. So we try not to do that.
Right. Speaking of your role, Kira, you're the creative director at AAA Agency. What does a day in the life of Kira Chesalina look like?
Well, I need to be on point every day, so I start the day with reading the threads, news, channels, every other thing that I can find. I watch TikToks, I watch the memes, because it could sound funny, but it's modern, background and modern people opinions, and I'm an influencer like lead, so I need to know the all of the trends, what happens. We daily have a meeting in the morning, so we discuss our plans and targets on the week. I brief influencers for the campaigns. We discuss the pains and needs and goals. After that, I do a lot of strategies for clients, and in between the calls with the clients, I do the marketing researches and creative strategies. I usually work a lot with the data, using this data from influencer campaigns from previous campaigns, or maybe from the marketing data about user behavior or specific market if you need it. And I have a lot of meetings as far as I'm a team leader, so I
I'm
have a
sure.
lot of operation stuff. And in the end of the night, I'm crawling back to my bed, completely exhausted. I'm kidding.
I so want to ask you what is your screen time, but I'm pretty sure it's off the charts
It's a painful question.
for all of us.
I guess it's uncountable. It's at least maybe from 12, sorry, to 15 hours a day, because
Wow.
I'm always on the screen, and sometimes I have two screens at the same time, because here I have a content, and here I have a meeting agenda. But in the modern times, it's not that rare to have
Hmm.
this ADHD like habits.
Right.
So it's
So
all
now,
right. I'm
speaking of
enjoying.
modern times, yeah, I mean, there are so many enjoyable advances that are happening due to AI. So, how do you see AI impacting gaming and influencer marketing in the next 5 years?
Well, I guess it will shape it, because you can never hide from the progress. I guess it's perfect shape actually for both gaming and influencer marketing. Well, in gaming, it's already like a huge instrument and a huge player, because you can personalize narrative, you can adapt difficult levels. I've been to a couple of presentations from the major titles, and they use AI to build the narratives. For example, it was Cyberpunk, I guess, and they use AI to build the different levels and to connect the narrative from different heroes. You can like use AI to visualize environments, and you can use it. It's easier to say than where you cannot use AI in gaming. But speaking about influencer marketing, as I previously told, it's, we lack of connection. We need to like enhance how brand and creators connect with audience, how brand and creators connect with each other. So I guess, first of all, AI-driven analytics will provide even more precise insights, helping brands identify the most authentic and effective creators for the campaigns. But at the second time, I am hoping personally for this like connection, for this more like easy and enjoyable conversations, and maybe some instruments. I don't know, will it be the chat bots or something? I don't know. Well, and predictive AI could forecast campaign outcomes, but better, because now it's a rigid data and we need to be more flexible, because you have a lot of, unpredictable events which happens, maybe some breaking news, or maybe, uh, something happened
Any,
for
yeah,
influencer.
geopolitical,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, event.
For like another game changers will be raised for AI generated content and virtual influencers. Now they like kind of rigid, but in the future we will be more alive. More you will, I guess. Maybe it's a Black Mirror kind of thinking, but I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, it sounds very
Uh,
metaphorical, right? Imagine a game which is already a virtual world, and the gamer is also the player is also virtual, the virtual influencer. So I mean, it's
Of
very
course, it could be
metaphorical.
combined, and at the same time, you maybe in the future you cannot define where's the real person and where is the AI. And let's see what will happen. I don't know. I'm very curious about this actually, because
Yeah,
it's perfect. It is beautiful. It's threatening at the same time, but beautiful. Well, yes. We still need a humans in this,
of course.
connections in
Yeah,
between game and the influencers, which is our audience, who is alive and who is engaging. We still need to communicate with them, and to be honest, we do all the job for them. But it will definitely expand the user experience and the player's experience, I guess.
right. Uh, Another fun, question. If you could design the ultimate partnership between a gaming brand and an influencer, what would it look like?
Well, usually you stole my idea already, because it was something like very similar to what you previously said. But I see it as a, very transient product promotion to create, cultural phenomenon. For example, the influencer itself could be woven into game's DNA, co-creating narrative,
It's a
in-game
great idea.
character, yeah, having their own backstory, voice lines, or maybe storylines. I don't know. And the campaign will be like kicked off in a mixed reality, and the influencer could like step in a game in every other way, like literally and figuratively, and like I see the global premieres and the real-time audience interact with the game, and beyond digital, the partnership includes like immersive pop-ups, because we see it very efficiently works in the different countries. Augmented reality experience where fan and players can engage in the game with a new ways, not just like in metaverse or not just offline, but in completely different way, from your mobile phone, from a laptop, from I don't know, offline experience. And in the end, it could be like omniverse, experience. Either it's Battlefield or either it's I don't know, RPG game. So it's crafting
Right.
whole new reality, not just advertising campaign. It's a new product itself.
Yeah, I really like the term that you used, omnivorous, environment. It's a very interesting term. Kira, the next two questions are essentially rituals that we make our guests go through. You have to give us your favorite book or a book recommendation. Also, you have to nominate someone, You may nominate someone for our show.
Well, I'm a huge book nerd, so for me this question is very painful because I have to choose. But I guess for now it's maybe the biography of Hideo Kojima because it's very entertaining and it's very
Okay.
inspirational.
Okay.
Because we're speaking about the games.
Okay.
And nomination, I need to think about it. There's just, so many interesting people, so
I'm sure.
many
Yeah.
beautiful. Let me think for a second. I need to figure out who will I nominate? Who will I nominate? Um, I like Dmitry Bishonkov. He's a huge
Okay.
opinion leader in industry. I love his reports. He works for my games, and it will be very fruitful to interview him. I guess he can share so many inspirational stuff. I would love to hear him.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kira Chesalina, for coming to the show and gracing, the season 3 of Impulse with your presence. Uh, it has already begun on a fun note for us. Speaking of gaming, creators and marketing in a fun way. So thank you so much for coming to the show and for building for creators, especially supporting creators through your agency at AAA. Uh, any last words? Anything that you wanted to say and I didn't ask you? Now's the time.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. It was such an honor to be here, and it's such a nice, beginning of a year for me. And the last words is I just wanted to say to your audience, guys, always be curious because, we need to create something beautiful in this world, and we have all of the opportunities to do that. And thank you so much for having me, and hope to see you soon, sometimes again.
Absolutely. And what a fun note to end this interview on. Thank you again, Kira, for coming to the
Thank
show.
you.
Impulse, the influencer marketing podcast, is brought to you by Phyllo. Phyllo is the easiest way to get access to authenticated creator data from hundreds of different platforms. To know more about Phyllo, visit getphyllo.com. That's getphylo.com. Also, make sure to search for Influencer Marketing Podcast in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any of your favorite podcast listening platforms. And don't forget to click subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Phyllo, thank you so much for listening.